And we're live. Welcome to another episode of the Live Clean and Fight Dirty Show, weekly live at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Is your martial arts program really bullyproof? Well, we're here with UFC coach John Hackelman and Kajikuma Black Belt to talk about this topic. The chat box is open, so if you have any comments you want to make about being bulletproof, stories about how you handle bullies, or how you feel, what makes you bullyproof, put it in there. I'll bring it up a little later in the conversation. But for now, John, what would you say is the most important factor? What's the most important factor when you're teaching a student who is coming to you before, a lot of people join martial arts saying something like, my kid's being bullied at school and that's why I want him to do martial arts. What's one of the first things you like to kind of attack and teach for a student that's going through some of that?
Confidence. I mean, but it can't be empty confidence, because the second your, bravado gets pierced, if it's weak or shallow, then they see that you are very confident, but you don't really perform well when you're being attacked. Then people will see right through that. So the confidence should be built upon your training and skill levels of your martial arts school. So the person that's not going to get bullied is a martial artist. But I mean, what got me thinking this was there was there's a protest in our town that they want to put up the rainbow, trans whatever flag. And I asked the mayor, I said, why are you putting that up? What's the purpose? I mean, it's like 0.5% of the population even thinks that way. So why make such a big deal about it? And she said, because they don't feel like they belong and they're being bullied. So the trans people are being bullied. Okay. So I started thinking, is it the trans people that are being bullied? Because not too long ago, it was women. Remember, Me Too, we're bullied. So they were getting bullied, right? Black people getting bullied, Mexicans getting bullied, white middle class straight males get bullied. Asians, remember all the Asian hate? They were getting bullied. So I started thinking of the trans getting bullied. I was like, in Hawaii, there was a club called Glaze, and there was a lot of trans people doing, they did the dances, you know what I mean? They did the strip, they didn't strip, but they did the like they dressed up as drag queens, They used to call them drag queens. Now they're called trans. I don't know. But the drag queens would dance, and they're dressed like women. And there was one she called herself Prince Hanalei. And I don't know what, that was her stage name, but she not only had a reputation of being a great flamboyant, gay dancer, or, whatever you want to call it, drag queen, but she was also being known for being a badass. I want to say she's a biological male, so she's a male, he's a male, whatever. But this person was a badass. Wouldn't take shit. You got in its face, her face, his face, crack you and not take any shit. Okay. Prince Hanalei was never bullied. She was a trans person, but she wouldn't take being bullied. She said no. The only people that are going to be bullied are the weak and the cowardly. Okay. It doesn't matter what color they are, what their sexual orientation is, what their gender is, whatever. None of that matters. Black or white or woman or short or fat. It doesn't matter. If you're weak and a bully wants to pick on you, you're a bully target. You're going to be bullied. You're going to be bullied. It's like over 7 million kids a year get bullied. 7 million kids a year get bullied. All different races and cultures and ethnicities, just all kinds. And there's the humongous 0.5% of that population is trans. So none of them are going to get bullied if they're strong and they're brave and they're confident. None of them. I don't care what their anything is. And I'll tell you how I know that. Because I'm a white guy. I was bullied because I'm a white guy in Hawaii. I was bullied. Kill Howley Day. And you guys from Hawaii, you'll understand this, especially if you grew up in Oahu. Okay, I was bullied. I was called a fucking Howley. I was called a fucking Howley by the teachers. Not many of them, but there was a couple that called me, fucking Howley. So I used to get bullied. I was cowardly. I'll admit it. I was cowardly. I got bullied. I got picked on. Just because I'm white. It would be like, because there was nothing else like, oh, you did this or you did that. It was just, you fucking Howley. So I got bullied as a Howley. Then I started training. And then my mindset changed. I was not going to take it anymore. So at like 12 years old, I fought off a bully that was trying to bully me, and I beat him. I never got bullied again. And you know what? I didn't change from Howley to local. I'm still a Howley, but I didn't get bullied anymore because I wouldn't allow it. I wasn't stronger or bigger or anything. I just would not allow being bullied anymore. And that can go for everyone on this planet. If you're getting bullied, it's only because you're allowing it. You have to allow the bully to bully you, or it's just an attempted bullying. You know what I mean? So what you need to do is train your mindset after getting in shape. You should be training anyway. If you're not training martial arts, and then you probably want to be bullied. I don't know what the reason would be. But if you don't want to be bullied and you are, or your kids are, have your kids train martial arts. Because there's no other way. You can pay the guy off maybe, but if someone's going to bully you, if there's a bully out there looking around, if you are weak and cowardly and soft, you're going to be the target. They're not going to pick me. They're going to pick you. We might look the same. We might have identical dimensions and everything. But my mindset is I'm not going to be bullied. I've had that mindset since I was like 12 years old. I'm not going to be bullied. And I never was. So the only time you're going to be bullied is if you allow it. And for you kids out there, it's if you're getting bullied, your parents are allowing it.
Yeah, that's actually that's a comment we just got here from Zen. Most kids get bullied because of their parents.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be honest, my mom or dad never thought of martial arts for me. They know I got bullied. They just didn't know what to do. It's like, that's just the normal thing in Hawaii. Kill Howley Day was accepted. Just like if your kid's white, is going to get beat up at school. That's just the way it was. My mom, I would ask my mom, why can't we just move to the mainland? She's, oh, it's not that bad. Just put up with it. But then all of a sudden, I'm still the white guy. I just changed my mind. And the whole reason I changed was I went to a martial arts school to learn regular martial arts. But my instructor, Walter Godin, he had the mindset like, boom, he's never been bullied, and he taught that in every lesson. He didn't even have to say it. There didn't have to be a mat chat. He just exuded that. So you got that from him. So I was never bullied again. It could go for anyone. I was still white. I'm still that Howley, but guess what? Not one person had ever bullied me again. That's all. And you can do the same thing if you can be an alpha trans just because you're weak, physically. If you're strong enough mentally, and you're a trans, nobody's going to pick on you. They're only going to pick on you if you're soft and weak and cowardly. I don't care about like I said, sexual orientation, sexual preference. It doesn't matter. Black, white, Mexican. If you say, I'm not going to be bullied, and you can back that up with because you've trained. Obviously, you trained if you're watching this. If you haven't, you're I don't know what to tell you. You're a bully magnet, and it's on you. But
So,
if you do train physically, then get that in your mindset. Just if you're a kid, if you have kids at home, make that in their mindset too. You know what I mean? So that's what I think.
so
And go.
one of the questions I have, so you talked about the philosophy of don't be bullied, how you put that together, how you develop that for yourself. How do you how do you personally teach that? What are some tactics that you use to teach your students that?
I think you do talk to them once in a while. I'm not big on mat chats and like all that, but I do let my students know all the time when they're landing something or if they, some technique they're working. My adults, we talk about, stuff that's worked in the UFC that we do so they know it works. But our kids just know it works because when they're sparring, if they land a good punch or something, they know it works. And that gives them the confidence. And it's not an empty confidence. It's a confidence full of skill and power and courage and strength, So that confidence right there, that goes with them. Like imagine you hit someone like that. And we tell them, don't let anyone take your lunch money. Don't let any bully try to get his way with you, you know? So I think the kids start getting that because I not only have I heard umpteen stories about how, from parents, how my kid was getting bullied. Now he's not anymore. To the kid himself telling me, so, and what we can see in them, the confidence level, they become different kids, when they know how to defend themselves and fight and they don't feel like they're going to be bully targets. Guys that are bullied are usually, well, poor me, yada, yada, yada. And it's terrible, like I said, I was the bullied magnet. I was bullied, but I'm still the same color, but I'm never bullied. And there was a reason for it. So the reason for getting bullied wasn't really my color. It was the fact that I was scared and cowardly and I wouldn't stand up for myself. Okay. It wasn't my color because that same color, all of a sudden, I'm never getting bullied. So it's the kid's confidence or the adult's confidence, strength, courage, more than it is anything else. And it definitely doesn't have anything to do with being gender, whatever, fluid or gender, trans, whatever. If they're not cowardly and weak, they're not going to be a bully target. I guarantee you that. If some bully comes up to some trans person and he fucking cracks him in the face, and fucking takes him down, and they're not going to pull that. I don't care how trans that guy is. I don't care how many dresses he wears. No one will ever bully him again. So it's not because you're trans, not because you're gay, not because you're white, not because you're black. You get bullied. If you get bullied, it's because you are weak and cowardly, and the bully can feel that.
So if I understand correctly, it's not so much, and there's another thing you said, like when you were talking right now, it's not when you're teaching this tactic, it's not, you said it's not mat talk. And for those of you that don't know what in the industry mat talk is, at the end of class, you have a little discussion, everyone circles up and you have a discussion about something that happens off the mat, like bullying or whatever social issue and how training. But
confidence and teamwork and yeah.
It's not really mat talk. You're saying in the training itself, once a person gets involved and once a person starts training, the training itself makes them more confident. So these are I'm gonna assume here in concrete terms, you're talking about stuff like just contact drills, punching, kicking, going back and forth, sparring.
Yeah, or just hitting the bag.
Bag.
Because they're going to get better if they spar, but you build up a lot of confidence when you know how hard you can hit and you feel the power on that bag. You're kicking it, punching it, elbows, etc. That's going to build up a lot of confidence. and sparring is better for your timing and your distance and stuff like that. But you could still be a lot more confident and a lot more successful in a fight just hitting the bag. I mean, because if you land those punches, boom. I mean, you still build up confidence. So there's a lot of different ways in your training, like doing takedowns over and over. Go, shit, I could take anyone down. It gives you the confidence. Now you know I'm not going to be bullied. And like I said, it has nothing to do with being trans or gay or straight or white or black or any of that. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It has to do with your mindset.
Yeah. So drills, concrete drills. It can even be bag work. The training in itself. Now, of course, we're kind of, like you said earlier, with the channel that we run, we're kind of preaching to the choir because a lot of people are martial artists.
Yeah.
But yeah, the training in itself.
But the reason I brought this up was because it really hit me hard because last night we're driving home and I saw this, like it was a little protest going out to my house, and I pulled over to find out what's going on, and I found out they were protesting because they wanted to put up the rainbow, the flag for the pedophiles and the whatever. I really don't know what the flag's for, but it has something to do with sexual something. So I asked the mayor, I said, well, so why do we have to put a flag up? He's, well, because, you know, the they don't feel like they belong, so they get bullied. And then so I started thinking, I said, and I told her, I go, the only people that get bullied are people that allow bullies to bully them. So whether you're trans or straight or hetero or whatever you are, you're not going to get bullied if you don't let it. So I don't think that's really the reason, but okay. I mean, I'm not gonna argue with the mayor about it, but I knew that's not it. So I just started thinking more about it, thinking, how delusional does a trans person or their parents have to be to think that because they're coming out of a closet or putting themselves in a closet, whatever they're doing, they're putting on little dresses and makeup, that's why they're getting picked on. No, that's why they're getting laughed at, maybe. But the only reason they're going to get picked on is if they don't stop the person from picking on them. Like I said, they might like Goofy and some people laugh at him and shit like that. You're not going to stop that, but you can stop the bullying. And I don't think that's bullying at all. I think bullying has to do with when people put their hands on you.
So just to clarify again, this is more a parenting issue. This is not for anyone watching this, and hopefully you're not getting offended here. What we're talking about is the idea that you can be whoever you want to be, you can do whatever you want to do, but to avoid bullying from martial arts coaching perspective, you should be able to do whatever you want, and if you're confident enough and you can defend yourself, you can avoid bullying through your own confidence. So that's if I'm paraphrasing correctly, that's what's going on. Now, some comments. John DeWolf says, "Thank you for these live sessions. Just signed up with the online course. Thank you, John. And I'm working on my accounts. Keep it up." Nicholas, I don't think enough people train for bare knuckle fighting for self-defense. Training with boxing gloves isn't enough. What are your thoughts on that one, John?
Well, I mean, if you want to look like this, I agree, but it's better. It's better to get your knuckles in shape. You can't always do bare knuckle training, especially on a heavy bag, because it has nothing to do with the power of your bones. But sometimes when you scrape it wrong, it might rip your skin a little. And you're not trying to get thicker skin. You're trying to get denser bones, because you're not going to skin your skin off of somebody's face. And the bag isn't like someone's face. It's like a heavy bag. So to hit a heavy bag, I think you should wear the thinnest of gloves and use that on the bag, and then still hit the makiwara without a bag. But hitting it with a boxing glove does not build up your knuckles at all, but it's a hell of a lot better than not training at all. So it's better than nothing, but not as good as hitting with the bag gloves.
And when we're talking about bag gloves, here, let me show you a picture here. We're talking about these, right? These bag gloves right here. The ones with little
I'm talking about like, okay, the
yeah.
thinnest ones. Yeah, like that one.
They're pretty
Something
much
like that.
almost like MMA gloves, except they put your fingers together and
Yeah.
it's pretty much like
If
leather.
you want a really good, if you want to get a lot of different choices, go to centurymartialarts.com.
Oh,
Centurymartialarts.com.
Century. You're welcome, Century. Just free plug right
Yeah. Me and Century go way back. We have a good relationship. They don't sponsor me. They don't pay me. I pay for my stuff usually, but I love that company.
All right, there you go. Century.
But
If you're looking to toughen up your knuckles. Um, yeah, those are pretty much all our comments for today, man. Wait. One came in. Old school boxers train with very thin gloves. That's right. That's right. That's right.
yeah, it toughens up their hands more.
Yeah. Yeah. That got me thinking. I think I'm gonna pick up a pair.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesse. Okay, right, there we go. What do you teach your students to get used to getting hit? Or not being scared? Okay. What do you teach your students to get used to getting hit or not being scared of a hit? I remember we did a cool drill in boxing, but I'm trying to think of the other drills. Thanks again.
I, I think you have to tell you have to tell them, but you can tell them till you're blue in the face. They just have to get out there and drill and spar a little bit and you have to remind them that there's worse things than getting punched in the face. You're not gonna die if you're a kid and you get punched in the face. You're not gonna die if you're an adult and you get punched in the face. Some people hate it more than others. Then don't get punched in the face. Don't spar if you don't want. Just hit the bag and drill. You know, you're going to be better off with sparring. But if you don't want to, you should still be really, really good. But you don't ever get used to getting punched in the face. You could get hit once to say, okay, that wasn't that bad. I can deal with that, or I don't like that. So when I fight, I'm going to try not to get hit in the face. But there's worse things in life than getting punched in the face. And for kids, especially, they don't really hit that hard. So they don't really hurt each other that much. It hurts, but they don't get the same effects as grown-ups do. But you shouldn't get used to getting hit in the face. You should get used to blocking the punches to your face and hitting them in the face.
And I think he's also asking, how do you keep them from being scared? Not so much getting hit. I think he said there was two parts of the question: getting hit, and the other part of being scared of getting hit. You know, people will do that flinch, or sometimes they'll start running away when strikes start coming in. No offense to you grapplers out there, but a lot of you guys, when you start striking, trading, tend to do a lot of this. The no mas space. How do you get rid of that?
Getting hit. It's just, I mean, you could talk about it. It's like, what if you're scared of heights? You just go up in the height. That's the only way. You're always going to be scared of it, but you'll find out it's not as bad as you thought. But you might just always hate it. Some people always hate flying, even though they fly, they just hate it. So it's good to hate being punched in the face because you shouldn't like it. But you should realize that you can work through it and just punch them in the face more. That's another thing I can think of.
Repetition. Your answer? How do you keep people from scared? Repetition. You keep sending them in there until they get over it. All right. Oh, Nicholas, can you be a good fighter but suck at shadowboxing? Seems like it's easier to spar than shadowbox because shadowboxing is difficult to visualize and get into rhythm. So, can you be a good fighter but suck at shadowboxing?
Okay. You can be a good fighter and suck at sparring. You could be the worst sparer in the gym and be the best fighter. Nobody knows if they're going to really be a good fighter until they get in a fight, whether that be in the street or the ring or the cage. Nobody knows until they actually do it. You can beat up everyone in the gym, and then the chances are you're going to be better in the cage or the ring or the street. So the better are you in sparring, the better you'll usually be in the street. Some guys, though, you can't really take that because some guys spar great because they're comfortable. It's their gym and they're kind of loose, but then are terrible when the odds are, when everything's against them, like in a fight or a cage or a street. Then all of a sudden it's different. So then they freeze under pressure. Then they fight terribly. I've seen guys, we call them gym fighters. They're great in the gym, terrible in the fight. So you'll never know if you're a good fighter until you've been in a fight. But if you're doing really good at sparring, you'll probably do better in the fight. You'll probably be good at fighting. That's all I can say for that.
All right. So there you go. You maybe that sounds like a maybe, Nicholas. Maybe you can suck at shadow boxing, but still be good at
Yeah.
sparring.
Okay. So here's a better answer too, because you can suck at anything in the gym, and you're still not fighting. You can suck at, shadow boxing, jumping rope, hitting the bag. You can suck at all that, and still be a great fighter. But it doesn't really matter. Shadow boxing, if you should be able to hit the bag kind of hard, and then you should kind of spar good, hopefully. But as long as you're training hard and you're doing your due diligence and working your hardest, then you should be confident that if you have to get in a real fight, you'll do fine.
All right. So there it is. You could be good. And that happens all the time, right? There's people that are really good at a tool and they suck at sparring. So yeah.
Yeah. Or the other way around.
Yeah. Or the other way around. All right. Well, those are all our comments. Unless there's anything odd and no one's saying anything yet. Okay. We are up for our time. We did hit our time frame that we like to do every week. So with that being said, without further ado, making the quimsical face, no more comments. This has been another episode of the Live Clean and Fight Dirty show, every week at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. A big special thanks goes out to John DeWolf. Thanks for joining the online program at thepit.tv. The Pit.tv, you can come in, audit a class. Less than 2 cups of coffee a month will pay for 1 month of auditing a class. When we're talking about audit, it's not like you get one class and once a week. No, you get the whole damn program. You're just not going to rank. But you can sit there. You can sweat it out, work it out with a UFC coach there yelling at you live. He talks to you. These aren't pre-recorded. He's talking to you. Check it out. And if you want to get through the whole Pit system, you can sign up for that too. Get yourself a black belt. No matter where you are in the world. If you're stuck in your mother's basement and you want to get out, I really strongly recommend that you join the Pit.tv to get out of that basement, get some confidence, and don't let anyone take your lunch money. Catch y'all next week.
Hope you don't have bodies in the fridge and living in the grandma's basement. And you got like bodies in the freezer and shit. Like, what the heck? Grandma's basement?
Get out of their basement. Stop trolling people online. Start training. Catch y'all next time.